Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Heat Revision podcast. And I got myself, Hector, also known as CN6. And with me, I got Jazzy.
What up?
And welcome to another episode of Should You Buy? But actually, before we dive into it, I'd like to remind you guys that you guys can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Make sure you follow our socials at Heat Revision Podcast or go to heatrevisionpodcast.com. You're going to see all of our links through there. Also, join the Discord, top link in the description. Join the Discord, guys. Come chat with us about video games, movies, TV shows, anything like that. But yeah, South of Midnight. Also, a quick little disclaimer. We sound different.
Yeah, we do.
We definitely sound different. That's because we reverted back to our old equipment.
Our old ways.
No. Just for now, guys.
Yeah,
just for now.
Just for this one.
Yeah, just for this one, just because the HRV headquarters is occupied right now. So yeah, we had to go back to our old ways. But anyway, South of Midnight.
Yeah,
man.
South of Midnight was made by Compulsion Games. They've also made a game called Contrast, but one game that Hector actually already checked out, We Happy Few.
Yes.
And obviously that game had a little bit of a history with a little bit of not drama, but more like a bad history because the game came out very buggy, right? When it first came out, but you played it after all that, or am I wrong?
No, yeah. When it came out, because it was at early access, I think, back in 2016, and then it wasn't released fully until 2018. And I played it at the time when I had a playthrough type of channel. That was like my first ever one that I uploaded to YouTube, and that was about. Damn, that was a while ago.
Because I remember you telling me about it.
That was like 3 years ago or some shit.
Because the reason why I was interested in it, I don't know why I made the comparison, but it reminded me of BioShock a lot. The graphics and all that. I was like, it was very BioShock-esque.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I never checked it out because I heard about how buggy it was and everything like that.
No, it's
so I never knew what type of gameplay it was. I never knew.
Okay. You know, it's funny you should say this. It's kind of okay. When I was playing Atomfall, it reminded me of Atomfall.
Oh.
It's a survival type of game.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah. So just like Atomfall, I don't want to dive too much into it, but there are like certain, you know how like there's certain regions.
Yeah, it's the same shit there.
We Happy View has certain regions that you could explore, some side quests. There you could craft items. There's a stealth gameplay. There is a survival type of feature where there are like your hunger, your thirst. All those different types of things, and what I like about it actually from We Happy View is that, you know, some games if your hunger is completely low, you start dying and shit, whatever. And We Happy Few, they do it a bit differently where you just are more weaker and you don't do as much damage. So you lose.
Creative.
Yeah, and if you actually get your hunger up, or your thirst, your sleep, you get buffs. So you do more damage.
So it encourages you to actually do that shit.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that's
here's the thing, man. When we saw this, South of Midnight was announced in what?
It was one of the Xbox showcases.
Yeah,
I forgot. I forgot which one though.
You're right, man.
I forgot.
Was
which
it last year? No, dude. It was fucking.
What, 2 years ago?
I think so, bro. Because I think we saw it when we went to the theater. They did the Xbox showcase in a theater.
Oh, was it that one?
I think right there, man. With Starfield Direct. I think for sure that's where they showed it to us.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't it crazy how time went by like that? Wow. So South of Midnight's finally here by the same people, Compulsion Games, and We Happy Few, man. It had its issues right at the time, and they fixed them. But even after it was fixed, many people still don't like it, man. And I'm gonna be real. I'm kind of in the minority, I guess, because I actually like.
Yeah, I remember. I was going to say, I remember you telling me you enjoyed it.
Like, I actually like it. The story's pretty cool. Like, it's cool. My thing is, if you enjoy Atomfall, I think you'll enjoy We Happy Few. Like, it's kind of similar in structure. And if I'm gonna be honest, if Compulsion Games made Atomfall, I'm like, yo, I believe it. Type of thing, right? Yeah. But we'll talk about that more.
Another one,
in the Atomfall. Should you buy episode? I was gonna say review, but anyway, South of Midnight, we're here, Compulsion Games, and man. So, do you want to talk about the game premise?
Okay, so basically, you play as I forgot the
Hazel.
Name. Hazel, right? You play as Hazel. I'm gonna tell you basically the beginning of the game.
Maybe it's spoilers though.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Okay, you're on a quest to find and rescue your mother. And it's based in like the Louisiana South type atmosphere,
yes,
which is very unique.
With I want to say folklore.
Oh yeah,
Maybe?
folklore with that area. No, you're right. It's folklore
Okay.
within that area, and it's very unique because you don't really see this type of
That's very
setting.
true. That's very
Setting
true.
of this game, so it is cool to see that, right? But that's basically the premise of this game, where you basically are on an adventure
Yeah.
to rescue your mother, and on your way there, you discover these abilities that, like, oh shit, like I forgot what you're called. I forgot the word for it, but you're called
weaver.
a weaver. There you go.
I believe so.
You discover that you're a weaver, and you discover abilities, and that's basically the premise of this game. So that's the premise. We can basically move on, or unless you have anything else to say.
I mean, I like to add on that, yeah, you are right, man. We don't get that much, like, the setting, like Deep South. You know, we get some folklore here. And to be honest, I like it, man.
I like the setting. Yeah, I did.
I like the setting.
The premise of this game is definitely unique, which I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit, which is what intrigued me in the beginning when we got the
for sure.
announcement trailer.
For sure.
Way back when, I was like, oh shit, we've never seen this before.
And because it was Compulsion Games, man. At the time, like I said, I actually like We Happy Few. They did another game. I forgot what other game they did, but We Happy Few is from where I know them. Is where I know them from. So when I saw, oh shit, Compulsion Games are moving on, they're making this game, I was kind of like already on board.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I like the first one. I don't think the first one's like a masterpiece. I mean, sorry, We Happy Few was a masterpiece, but I thought it was solid, man. I liked it.
No,
So I was like, you know
respect
what? I'm looking forward to this one too, man. Let's check it out. It's a cool setting. We rarely get to see that, and yeah, I think in the setting it definitely delivered, especially segueing to the visuals.
Yeah.
I want to say, man, that South of Midnight's visuals is very, very appealing, at least to me, because the anime they have. Okay, in the beginning of the game, when you boot up the game, they have this stop motion type of,
bro, caught me
like,
off guard.
cutscene. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And it actually looks really cool. Like the stop motion clay shit, like you would see from Coraline or what's it called, like Corpse Bride. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it had that type of animation. Although the game is not like that, I thought that was really cool. But the game kind of reminds me of like what Spider-Verse was doing a little bit.
Where it's like it's very choppy in terms of some it's like choppy frame rate, but it's done on purpose.
Yes.
And it's a stylistic choice. It's tough because sometimes, bro, I was playing the game. I was like, wait, I can't tell if the game's being buggy right now, or if that
my
was a
frames dropping.
Yeah, or my frames are dropping right now. But I'm gonna assume it was the fucking style of the game, because my game never crashed. I never ran into any bugs or anything like that. But definitely the visual of this game is definitely a bright spot for it. I definitely enjoyed some of the environments. Specifically when you're just traversing and everything, and you're just like, whoa, this world is, because the price point for this game is $40, right?
$40.
So for a $40 game, visually, it feels like a AAA type of visuals. Is what I'm getting right here.
That's true.
So I think visually they knocked that out of the park.
There's an upgrade, I believe, like a deluxe. I don't know what it comes with, but there's an upgrade that you could. I think it's $10 more. So it's $50 if you want to get, I guess, everything, whatever. But yeah, it's just $40, and it's on Game Pass. We forgot to mention that. It's also on Game Pass. But yeah, the visuals, man, I thought it was great, man. I actually really like the fucking visuals. It fits the setting. It fits the stories that's being told, and it's very visually appealing. Although I did see that some people actually had some issues, like performance issues, like frame rates and stuff. Personally, I didn't
get
encounter anything like that. The game also never crashed. Also, we should mention that we played it on Game Pass.
Yeah, we did. We both got it on Game Pass.
We have on PC. So we played it on PC and Game Pass. No, you did not use the controller.
No, for this game, games like these, I use controller.
Oh yeah, okay.
If it's more of a shooter, then I do mouse and keyboard.
Okay,
but like games like these where it's like melee, bro, I don't know why. I just don't. It doesn't feel right. Like I'm like, nah, man, I gotta use a controller for like melee type of games. So like Jedi Fallen Order, keyboard, controller, even though I played it on PC.
Okay.
If for example, when I got Ghost of Tsushima on PC, motherfucker, I'm playing on controller. There's no way. Nice. Yeah, man, there's no way I can play these types of games on,
very true.
On keyboard. I'm not that good on mouse and key to play a melee type of game on mouse and key, bro.
Yeah.
I'm good with shooters. I can do that, but melee, I'm just like, nah, man, I need a controller, dude.
That's very true. And actually, because I play Atomfall with controller as well.
No, I did PC on. I did mouse and key on.
I tried doing it, and like I don't know why, it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't feel right for me.
No, I understand it because I'm like that with fighting games.
But there are some games that actually do play with mouse and keyboard. Like one of them that I've played like a lot, like maybe a couple weeks ago, was Sons of the Forest and stuff. Like I could do that, right? But anyway, okay, the visuals, man, is outstanding. I like it. I think that's where like it stand out. Same thing with its story. We'll actually get into that in a bit. And another perfect way to segue is the music and sound design.
Okay, bro. For this section, bro, I know I usually say in all these, I'm like, dude, I'm not really into music unless I really enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I really enjoyed this game, but I actually do have some shit to say about this. This segment of the review, right? Or what do you want to call it? The music in this game is actually really, really impressive to me, and I actually was fairly enjoying it a lot. Yeah. Because after certain points of the game, when you defeat a boss or you just like, I forgot, random moments, specifically after you beat a boss or as you're traveling or like climbing to like attack the red shit, you know what I'm talking about? That music will play that's very deeply rooted in like Louisiana Southern type of shit.
Yeah.
And that music, bro, was really cool to hear. And I really ended up enjoying that shit. And it made me feel more immersed in the world and actually made me feel like I was playing as Hazel. And I really enjoyed that added touch. And it was good, dude. Like, it wasn't like something like, oh, this is so cheap. This is so, what's the word I'm looking for? This is so cheesy. There we go.
Yeah.
This is shit. I'm like, no, like, I actually like this. And as you're hearing this music, is usually followed with a great visual of what you're like climbing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it makes you feel a certain way, and I fucking love that, man. That shit was raw.
No, I agree. I thought that the sound and was definitely put you in like in the world.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like this is not really a spoiler, and I guess this kind of touches on visuals as well. There are like mythical creatures in here. And I think they're fire. They look great. Yeah. The design and everything's cool. But in this, as you're, playing as Hazel and going through the world, you're also encountering these creatures and other kind of stories and stuff, and relating to that creature, mythical or whatever, right? There's like a song dedicated to that story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I always thought
it's little touches like that, dude, where it shows a studio or a dev truly cares about the game they're making. Yeah. It's the little details, bro, where it's like, yo, they added that? Like, yo, they actually cared to add this to their game. And it's shit like that, and I'm not saying this game's a masterpiece or anything. It's shit like that when you make an already great game or an amazing game that takes it from like, yo, this is a great game, an amazing game, like, yo, this is a masterpiece. Look at what they did on top of the amazing gameplay already. If that makes sense. But no, I absolutely love the music in this game, bro. It was so unique.
And like I said, I like the dedicated songs to what you're... I don't want to spoil it,
Yeah, I know, right?
But there are dedicated songs to the game, and depending on like what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I really fucking like that, especially when you start to use the actual like combat features or your abilities, like your magic and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, but there's always like a tune or like something that's like that has like a melody to it when you use a certain power or whatever.
Dude, I know, man. It's little shit like
and the
that,
game also has a feature. And I guess this is a perfect segue, to the gameplay mechanics. There's a feature where I think, at least for me, right? Well, no, you did too. You played controller. When you press R3, that it guides you, like it tells you where to go.
Yeah.
And every time you do that, like you hear like a melody whisper of like Hazel.
Yeah,
it's guiding you.
Yeah,
I think that's fire, man.
That was cool. Okay, I know
that's
what
really,
you mean.
really cool.
And
so, okay, let's talk about the gameplay.
All right,
mechanics.
and I know we've been saying a lot of positive things. This is probably where my major negative comes into play. Yeah. Is that I think gameplay, even though as you progress the game, it gets more, I guess not difficult, more like unique and more shit's unlock.
Yeah.
But when you get to use these abilities, it's like just very boring because it's the same thing. As you progress through the game, right, from beginning and up until the point I got, right, I put like 8 hours into this game, right? It was the same thing from hour 1 to hour 8.
Yeah.
Where you progress the story, right? You get to this area from the very beginning. I'm talking about the beginning of the game. And you got to destroy like these 3 like spores, right? This is no spoiler, right? 3 spores, right? In these spores, there's like, it's like an area, like a circle. That's where you fight the enemies, right?
Yeah.
And that's only where you ever fight the enemies.
Yep.
As you explore the world, nothing like that, nothing. It's only in these areas.
And you can tell.
And then outside the boss fight.
Because then it's like a barrier.
It's like a barrier type of thing.
A barrier.
Like you'll be able to tell like, oh, a fight's coming up.
And here's the thing, man.
And that's boring to me, bro. It's like super boring. It's like, okay, you guys were creative in the music, the visuals, the world, the storytelling.
Yeah.
Why is this so boring? Like, why is this feel lazy to me?
And it just gets repetitive.
It does, because like it makes you not want to continue the game. For me, I did. For me, it didn't make me like. Once I got to hour 8, I'm just like, dude, I just don't want to continue. Like, I enjoy everything else, but the gameplay, that thing that's supposed to hook me, a major factor that's supposed to hook me, is just like rotting my brain. If that makes sense.
Okay. Would you say it's more so the combat? Because here's the thing, right? In the game, as you progress, you do like typical platforming stuff that we've seen it before, right?
Yeah.
Where you're climbing on ledges, you have a double jump, there's an ability where you can glide, you have an ability that knocks objects or brings objects towards you, like stuff like that, right? What I liked those abilities.
Yeah,
I like those abilities because it was like it led to a really cool traversal type of gameplay, because it's you're supposed to use them and to do like certain mini like small puzzles or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And then, but sorry to continue my because I was kind of losing my train of thought. Those abilities that you use to traverse in the world or to solve these mini puzzles or whatever, you can use those same abilities in combat. Does that make sense? So you could use it in combat, and I guess that's where it didn't work for me. I think my biggest issue is not necessarily the gameplay, even though I can understand where you're coming from. I think my biggest issue is the combat more than anything, because I don't like that it's just we see a barrier and like, oh, we're in the fucking combat zone. Yeah, I kind of want to see these enemies kind of scattered here and there, kind of like a platformer, like a typical kind of platformer.
Like as you explore the world, there's enemies.
I personally do like the abilities. I like the magic.
Same here.
I like the lore that's with it, and I like the traversal. It's just when you're using it in combat, and it's always just in sections. Yep. It just gets
feels
boring.
Limited.
Yeah,
limited
it gets kind of boring. It gets repetitive,
and you know what to expect. It's like, all right, they're gonna spawn some enemies there, and granted, as you progress, new enemies pop up.
But even then, man,
it's like I'm only gonna encounter these motherfuckers in this area, in these sections of the game. And it's like, bro, I don't care. And the boss fights are unique. I think what they should have done is obviously with each new region in this game, because you can say there's a unique boss fight, right? Why not just tackle each quote unquote level differently? Like maybe the first area, the first hour of the game is how we just talked about, like how it is for the first game. But maybe in the second boss, switch it up. Like, oh, in this one, you have to combine your parkour abilities with fighting as you're like traversing the land. And then the third one, for some reason, there's no parkour in this one, so it's literally just a very linear type of fucking level. Okay, you know what I mean? Just treat every level uniquely, like you did with every other aspect of the game.
I think it's because maybe do you think it's because it feels too staged? Because like when I play certain platformers, like Psychonauts, for example. Psychonauts is phenomenal. As you're exploring the world, there's enemies here and there and stuff that you just encounter. Whereas in South of Midnight, you know when you're going to encounter enemies and you know when you're not. Yeah. It's when we see that barrier and shit. That's the only time you ever encounter enemies. Then maybe it kind of adds like... it's so strange because you're kind of immersed in the world with the story and everything. But then in my opinion, I've kind of felt that immersion cut off when I
went to these areas.
When I ran into those areas, because it's like,
it felt like a chore.
It's staged. Like, okay, whatever. You know what's interesting is I think they knew that, man, when they were making this game. I think they knew that the purpose of this game, or like their highlights, was this audio and sound design, the music, the atmosphere, the vibes, and the storytelling, and Hazel as a character. Yeah, those are the highlights for this game. And then the combat is just where it lacks, and I think they knew that. That's why they did it that way. And another thing too, because I was looking into it, I'm not even lying to you. In the settings, if you go to the options in the game, you could set an option where you could skip the combat completely. No, I swear to God. I even took a screenshot. I swear to God.
Oh my God, for real?
Yeah, I took a screenshot of it. So right here, gameplay combat. Right here, combat skip option. Enable or disable the game's option to skip combat. Same thing with there's a boss.
It doesn't become like a fighter. It just becomes a platform.
But no enemies essentially. And then there's a boss skip option as well.
Wow.
So, and here's the thing. that is why it kind of what I just said. This kind of supports my like argument is that they understood, they knew what it was. Because why would you add that in the game? I'm gonna be real. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't look and shit.
In a game like this, I've never seen that before, bro.
But because, I'm not going to lie to you, Mark, because the combat felt just repetitive and kind of boring, kind of stale in my opinion, like kind of mediocre as well, like in terms of the abilities that we can use in combat, it made me like, you know what? Like, is there any way that, like, do I have to do this? And I looked, and that made me look into the settings, bro.
No way.
And I was just looking at the settings. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. You could hide your entire HUD display.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
I did that so like I could capture some screenshots and shit. Like, because I like to
take screenshots.
Yeah, man, because it's visually appealing, man. I like to do some screenshots and actually make posts on my social media. So I found that there's other cool options. You could customize like your HUD display, where like what do you want to like appear and stuff. Really cool stuff. But like I said, I found this and I'm like, there's no way you can actually skip the combat. And you can. In a display, like in on the right side of the screen, it shows you like an example, you know, and it says, okay, as soon as you enter the combat zone, you could. I think it asks you like, do you want to skip this or not, and you could just click yes, and it skips the entire combat.
That's crazy.
And you're back into the fucking world. And it just further proves my point, man. I think Compulsion Games kind of knew that. They knew that maybe the combat was not their strongest thing in the game, and maybe that's why they added that. Even the difficulty, when you could choose the difficulty, I believe like the very easy difficulty, it says like there won't be any combat at all, and it's you just exploring the story and shit like that.
Wow.
You know, and speaking of the story, I mean, actually, before we actually touch on that, I want to touch more on a little bit of the gameplay mechanics. There's also like a skill tree. Yeah. A typical skill tree. You collect these things called floof.
Yeah, floofs.
It's called floofs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I believe each floof, isn't it like 10 points or something?
Well, depending on what you do. There's like, if you explore the world for some reason, if you were to use your little push ability, the one that pushes pushes the enemies, there'll be like a random like fucking like part of a ceiling, like a tinfoil, not metal ceiling, and if you push those, it gives you 5 floofs.
Oh, okay.
It gives you 5 floofs, or if you clear out those areas, I think those give you 15 to 20.
Okay.
And then there's like random like floofs, like I don't even call it like an organism, just like like around the world, and if you collect those, depending on the size, the small ones give you I think 5, and the big ones give you 10 to 15. From there, no bullshit. I explored everything, like bro. Like I explored everything. At one point, bro, I got to the point where like in the beginning, like I unlocked everything. I had everything unlocked. I had to wait until the next area in order to fucking get the next level of skill, like the upgraded, like more of the skill tree. Okay. Because that's how you get it. As you progress the game, more skills become available.
Yeah. So it has that skill tree, and I want to say that it just you get more abilities, and it makes certain abilities that you already have a lot more stronger.
Yeah.
So it does kind of help with the combat because you can do more things. But even then, bro, even when I unlocked all those things, I just felt the same about the combat and about the enemies. I want to say the enemies do look pretty cool, like visually. But that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's all we kind of got.
I know.
It's the visuals, but for whatever reason, the core combat I'm just not really messing with, and I'm not saying the core gameplay, because I personally do like these magic abilities to solve little puzzles, like, oh, I gotta push this item here to climb here. I like the double jump gliding thing. I like the there's some wall running action going on. So I do like the traversal in the game, and and the way you progress, and the story, like the bigger mythical creature type of stories. I actually like that. But it's just, my biggest issue is the combat. And it's crazy that there's an option to completely skip it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So, I don't know. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I was thinking, okay, cool. I thought I was going to enjoy this game more than We Happy Few.
Really?
I thought, yeah, man. I really think so. Because I'm like, dude, We Happy Few is pretty cool. That shit's early access 2016, fully released 2018. And since 2018 till now, I'm like, come on, man. Like, they're probably going to, this next game is actually going to be a banger. So I was actually looking forward to this game. I'm like, you know what? This game might actually be really fucking good. And you know what? It is. But for whatever reason, I kind of like We Happy Few a little bit more. Maybe it's because it's like what you'd like to say, it's a Hector game, right? Where it's like survival type of thing. I mean, you like survival too, right?
I want to call We Happy Few a Hector game.
Oh, no?
A Hector game has to have one key component in it, and if it don't have it, it's not a Hector game for me. What is it? The building.
What is it?
Building.
Oh, building.
It's got to have building.
It has to have building.
It does?
No.
Oh,
I'm asking you, it has to have building.
Yeah, that's the
That's
one
a
key.
game.
The one key feature. It has to have building, like in Grounded, fucking Sons of the Forest, Minecraft. Games like it has to have building and to be able to make your build
argue,
shit.
Like I like the survival aspect too, though. Like the Minecraft, like all those games you mentioned have a survival aspect.
Yeah, and I like the survival aspects of games.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I enjoyed fucking Adamfall so much.
No, Adamfall, yeah, definitely. So I was like, dang, you know what, man? But I will say where Compulsion Games have kept like the thing that I really liked about We Happy Few is the story and the narrative. So let's transition to the story and the writing. The story for South of Midnight, I really, really enjoyed it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was like immersed in it. I'm like, yo, this is really cool. Especially the one big story with the one big mythical creature. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? You're kind of left like kind of uneasy. It's more mature and stuff, and which I really do appreciate. And then the narrative where about Hazel's backstory, and another I guess cool thing about the game is I believe if you hit left on the D-pad, I can't remember
the lore,
it pulls up the lore of everything. So everything you encounter, you have this like you have this log, and it keeps tracks of all the characters you encounter, and once you hover over them, it gives you more lore on that character. That's what I've been doing. So I personally believe that if you really want to be fully immersed and know what's like going on, you don't have to. That's one other thing too that I like about this game is you don't have to do that. But if you want that extra lore, you should definitely do that, and I actually was doing that. It also breaks down even like the enemies, like certain enemies, the floofs, certain things in the world. It explains everything of what it does. You also get there are also some notes scattered around the world that if you could read, go back to and read them to really give you more lore in the area that you're in. So I really do appreciate that. And okay, in terms of going back to the writing, I don't know what it was, Mario. Maybe you might disagree with me here, but do you think that the beginning of the game just, I guess, kind of happened like a little bit too fast? I don't know.
It felt like an intro. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure. But I felt like it wasn't.
They didn't go
natural.
Oh, natural.
In my opinion,
like how it flowed, or like.
Yeah, I felt like it just went like really too fast, and then Hazel's character kind of
has these powers, and you're
yeah, and I get it. The game, like, you're learning what, like, as you're progressing, you're learning, okay, what the fuck is a weaver, how do these powers, like, what are these powers and stuff, and how you get them and stuff. But I don't know, I felt like that type of intro, because you can make the argument, well, The Last of Us kind of has like an intro like that, where it's like boom in your face. But I don't know if it's the writing. I don't know why. I just felt this intro that we had here in South of Midnight kind of felt too quick for me. And I kind of wanted to see a little bit more before we got to that. But I understand they're trying to progress like the narrative in the game. And maybe this also leads to the writing, where a specific thing happens in the game, in the beginning of the game, where I kind of don't buy Hazel's like reaction a little bit.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It just, I don't know, the way
it happens quick. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And like she's just in real life, I get it, guys, it's a video game, but like if you see that happen, you would like freak out even more. And I don't know, I felt with Hazel, it didn't feel that way. I don't know.
I think it's one of the things where like
I can't say because it's spoilers.
I know. It's one of the things where it's like I need more time in order for with this character. In order to feel to feel these emotions you want me to feel. And that's what it was for me in the intro.
And I kind of sometimes felt like it also the game with its dialogue, it kind of held your hand a bit. Like expedition dumps or expedition it holds your hand. So for example,
I need to go up there and get
yeah. It's like,
okay,
bro, you even said it. Okay. So shit like that, like,
I need to go up there to find Mama.
Or like,
Mama! I kept saying that, you know? She says like, Mama!
So I'm talking more of like, oh, I could use this and use this here. It's like, oh, like I kind of knew that. Or like when you read a note, it's like, when you read a note, it summarizes the entire note for you.
Low key, bro. Something that came in handy because something as I got deeper. Well, no, listen. At the end, in the beginning, I hated it because I'm like, bro, I already read it. Like, why are you fucking summarizing? But at the end, when I lost interest, I was like, I picked it up. And I'm like, just summarize for me real quick. Like, yeah. That's why I enjoyed it. But in the beginning, though, I was reading everything. So like, I'm on your side where it's like, you don't need to summarize it if I read it. Like, I get it.
Okay, but you know what? Maybe I should take that back because now I understand from your perspective. What if you just don't want to read that?
Yeah.
And you wanted that quick summary. But maybe even maybe not so obvious. Like, oh, you get a new ability. It's like, oh wow, this ability. Maybe I could use this and that. Like, it explains.
I can use that to pull this. And
like, yeah, you know, I felt like it did that a bit too much. Where I was like, all right, man. Like, I kind of get it. But okay. Is there anything stand out for you with the narrative or even the writing, the dialogue?
In terms of narrative, obviously they have the overarching one, and that's Hazel trying to find her mother, right?
Yeah.
I have to say the level of maturity in some of these stories as you progress, like the mini stories that each level has, that pertains to the boss that you're fighting, I would say are really interesting. And surprisingly, I actually felt some emotions when I was going through the game, specifically it's not a spoiler, but the one with the brother and sister. That one specific, because I was like, I did not expect it to go the way it did, and the outcome of it, I go, holy crap. And then the one with the crocodile.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, bro. Like,
and that's what I like is the mature, because even though if you just look at the gameplay, the visuals,
it looks lighthearted.
It looks lighthearted, but man,
nope.
I'm telling you, this goes back to the stories with the mythical creatures and like the bigger stories that you come across is mature. And obviously Hazel, she swears and stuff like that, right? It's definitely mature, and I like that. I like those, like, I want to say they're twists, right? But I just like the story. I like the shit what's happening.
You like the turns that they take in terms of storytelling, these mini stories.
Yes.
Because you don't expect it, but you're like, oh shit. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel not real. It just feels like actually like, yo, I can buy this story.
And like and then combine that with the music.
Yep.
It like fits very well, man. And that's what I really, really like. And that's interesting you said that. Okay, so you said the combat or you said gameplay is what made you not want to play.
Yeah.
In my opinion, man, I think I do somewhat feel that, but because of like the story and the creatures that we're encountering and stuff, makes me want to keep playing and be like, yo, I want to see more of this, man.
I guess that's where we're just different there,
you know?
Because like, dude, like I want to continue it, but every time it's like, dude, I just don't want to do the game, like that setting, bitch, turn it on. Like at that point, like
I was gonna say, maybe if you use
I would literally turn that on. I was like, fuck it, bro. I just want to finish it.
Yeah,
I just don't want to do the combat because the combat, it's so boring to me.
Yeah,
it's the same shit. Like I know what to expect. Like, okay, all right, combat, all right, take out 3 of these.
It almost feels like
on.
It's just like,
and then you get that thing at the end when after you defeat all the spores, whatever they're called, and you get that chase scene. Bro, I've never felt less threatened in my life. I'll be running away from it, and then I'll stop to turn around. I'm like, wait, I just realized, what the fuck am I running away from? I just know I have to run. I turn around, I go, oh, that thing's chasing me?
Isn't it? What was it? The fog thing?
Yeah, it's like a fog. It's like a purple fog.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, I don't feel any pressure to actually run away from this shit.
Okay, and I guess maybe that could also play a factor of where it's kind of repetitive as well. Because even though I like the stories and stuff, but every time we go into this new section, we kind of
know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's like you do that.
Yeah.
Then you get the chase scene. Then you get the boss fight. All right, next level loads up. The next section of the game, you're going to do the same shit.
Yeah.
And you'll unlock maybe a different enemy or a different ability.
Yeah.
But it's the same shit. That's what you're going to do every level. And it's like, bro, I just don't feel like doing that. It's like, what?
Yeah, I can see that.
At this point, just make it a traversal game. Like, just design cool, different ways to traverse this world and, like, challenges. I feel like that would have been better. Maybe.
I think the story and then the mythical creatures is what really, I guess, hooked me. And, like, the visuals as well. I actually really, like, I think that's what got me. But I do understand what you're saying. Like, the combat I agree with. And I guess maybe what you're describing is just
the gameplay structure.
The gameplay loop. It is. I could definitely see that. It is repetitive, and I guess.
I guess it just goes. So now, too, is it worth it? Yeah, you know what I mean.
If it's worth it, yeah.
If it's worth it, man.
I guess we could get into.
Listen, man, because overall, the bright spots of this game are the visuals, the music, and the story.
Yeah,
Those
play this with
things-
headphones, man. Play this with
headphones, yeah, for sure. That will make you want to play this game. But the unfortunate aspect for me, and what ultimately led me to drop it, was the repetitiveness of the gameplay loop and the combat just feeling just a little bit too boring for me. To the point where I just did not want to continue it. I was like, bro, like I want to continue for these parts of the game, not the actual combat of the game. You know what I mean? And it felt to me like at this point, I feel like you guys should have just got rid of the combat and just made it something a completely different type of game,
like a Telltale, like Walking Dead type of shit.
It's that shit, right?
Or like it's super focused on its narrative, and the only combat we get is quick time events and point and click and shit.
Maybe, yeah.
And
then maybe mix it in with a platform.
Have you ever played?
No, I've seen the playthroughs.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
then you know, like
Yeah,
the only
I know how it
combat, it's like either you're standing still and you're just shooting, or it's like quick time events where you just move your cursor and like click on something. Like,
Yeah.
It's super basic, but people love it because of the narrative. I think this game kind of falls under that category where the narrative, the atmosphere. Hazel, personally, I actually like Hazel's character. I forgot to ask you, like, what do you think of Hazel's character?
Well, I like her as a character.
Yeah, I like her character as well. All the characters that we come across, I enjoy it. Like the vibes are there, man.
Yeah,
This is like a vibe game.
A vibey game, yeah.
A vibey game. This is, and it's not. We didn't beat it, obviously, guys, because that's why we're doing a Should You Buy episode. But I heard it's also not a very long game. I heard it's like
no.
roughly 10 hours
I looked
or
it up
something.
when I first started to play. I was like, how long is this
10,
game?
15
Because
hours,
I started playing on when the day it came out, right? Because we were
Yeah.
gonna record it that week. I was like, fuck, I only have like 4 days to play this bitch.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and it was like 10, 15 hours around there. I go bet. I
bad.
got to chapter 8, I believe, or 7, one of those ones.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
where I got.
That's where I left off, I think.
Yeah, I got there, and so it's for the price point is $40, right?
$40.
$40. Obviously, I have it on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, I say it's worth it, obviously. But if you're not an owner of Game Pass, I think you should wait for a sale at like $30. At $30 for what you're getting in terms of combat, I think that's where it's worth it. In my opinion.
Yeah.
It's just with the combat it has, I don't think it's worth $40, bro. And that's where it's the biggest downside for me is the combat and the gameplay structure, dude. That's where it's
You
like
said you got bored.
I got bored. I didn't want to continue it. But if you play, I mean, if you pay $30, you're like, all right, it's a $30 game, bro. Like I kind of expected this. But
Yeah.
for $40, I still think it's still kind of pushing it, man. Because the combat is a big factor of the game, dude. It just is. You know what I mean? But if you want to spend that much, go ahead. But I still think you should wait for a sale. I think it'll happen soon. Maybe by like summertime, there'll be a sale for it. And it's like $35, $30. But I think at that point or anything lower, I definitely think it's worth your time.
Yeah, I think I agree, man. I think if you have Game Pass, I definitely do think it's worth checking out. If you
Yeah.
have Game Pass. Like, I still think it's a really fun game. I think everything that we listed, all the positives, I think it's worth checking out. Now, is it worth paying the $40 as of right now? The amount of hours that we put in? I don't think so, man. I do agree with Mario. I think you should just wait for a sale. But if you have Game Pass, I recommend checking it out. And here's the thing, man. I think, Mario, I don't want this experience to be like, oh, I'm not gonna check out We Happy Few. I think you should check out We Happy Few.
I will.
The
one of these
DLC,
days.
they have DLC as well. They have 3
Yeah.
DLCs, and each DLC is roughly, I want to say, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it's like a separate story in the We Happy
World.
Few universe.
Yeah.
They're great. I think they're great. The game We Happy Few, if I had to rate it, dude, it's been so long ago, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had to rate We Happy Few, I'm looking at between like a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
7 to 8 range. That's what I'm looking at We Happy Few. And if you liked Atomfall, I think you'll like it because it has that type of feeling. I mean, when I was playing Atomfall, it reminded me of We Happy Few. I'm like, yo, okay, we got the regions going on here. We have like a survival type of thing. It's to be fair, now I think about it, Atomfall didn't have certain features in terms of survival. Like We Happy Few has the thirst thing, the hunger, sleep, or whatever, which you don't have to do. But if you did, you have like more buffs and shit. There's the crafting stuff, type of gameplay, whatever. I think you should still check it out.
Yeah.
And I thought I was gonna enjoy South of Midnight more than We Happy Few, but no, man. If I want to say I think We Happy Few for me has a little bit more of an edge to it. But it's been, I'm gonna be real, it's been so long since I played We Happy Few, and this is like back then when I wasn't reviewing shit.
Yeah,
we weren't even reviewing shit. I don't even think we had the pod.
No, I think we started shortly after that.
Because I think I could maybe look when I maybe uploaded that video. And see.
We Happy Few is one of those things where I want to check out eventually. One of those, it's just timing just has to work out.
Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So actually, let me check real quick right now. How long? Because when did we started the pod in 2022? No.
I believe.
Yeah. So the first video I posted for We Happy Few was June 13, 2021.
Yeah.
So we weren't even reviewing shit at all.
So
who knows? Maybe I gotta replay it or something. But at the time, I was thinking like if I had to come up with a rating, 7 to 8 range. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, is there anything else you want to include for South of Midnight?
No, man. I will give credit to Compulsion. I think I give them credit for making a new IP. That's one thing. This is a new IP.
And a new setting.
New setting that we rarely ever get. I know I kind of harshed on them for the gameplay and shit, but I always give credit to a new developer, not new developer, but like a developer creating new IPs in this day and age of gaming. So credit to them because they created a new IP. They took a risk by making a new character, a new world, a new game, and I hope they continue it.
No, yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, I hope they continue it.
And I will add on that I think Compulsion Games kind of knew the game that they were making. They knew that, okay, the atmosphere, the music, sound design, the story, the mythical creatures, everything, that is a highlight, and I think they knew that the combat was the weakest link. Because if they didn't know that, man, why would they?
Yeah.
Come on, why would you skip it, right? When you have an option to skip it.
Yeah.
So I want to, I guess, congratulate Compulsion Games because for what they wanted to do, I think they delivered.
Yep.
In terms of that, right? In terms of all the positive things that we said, I think they delivered. So I'm still looking forward to, a next game from them. If they ever do one, I'm still going to check it out. I think South of Midnight, I don't think it's a terrible game. I think it's pretty good. Definitely for the vibes. But if, just fair warning, there is a chance that maybe you'd be like Mario where you just kind of fall off of it because of the gameplay loop or, the combat, which I definitely 100% agree. So it's just to recap, Mario and I, we both say, wait for a sale.
Yeah.
If you have Game Pass, definitely check it out. I think it's worth checking out. Would you say the same thing?
If you have Game Pass, check it out, yeah.
Absolutely. So with that being said, that is going to be the end for this episode of Should You Buy. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.
Peace.